Garo, KTN News.
The second-term school calendar is yet again taking a blow, this time round from the ongoing protests. Now, the schools were to reopen on June 30th after the midterm break, but some schools in areas rocked by the heavy protests are yet to reopen, while those that had resumed operations were forced to send the learners home. As reports KTN's and Musungu, concerned parents are now calling on the government to address the issues raised by the protesting youth to avert any further disruption of the school calendar.
No month has passed without the 2024 school calendar for second term taking a hit. First, it was due to the heavy rains that pounded the nation in May and April that delayed the reopening by 2 weeks. This was followed by paralysis of learning in junior secondary school for 3 weeks after the intern teachers took to the streets to demand better employment terms, among them better pay and employment on permanent and pensionable terms. And just when the ocean had calmed and learning had returned to normalcy in a bid to recoup the lost time, the anti-tax protest happened. A midterm break that normally lasts 3 days spanned almost a week as schools prioritized the safety of their learners. Following the conclusion of the break, schools were set to reopen on June 30th for the second half of the term. However, in many areas affected by the ongoing protest, learning is yet to resume. Some schools initially attempted to continue operations despite the unrest. However, as tensions escalated, these institutions opted to send students home.
When we see that most of the demonstrations become fiercer afternoon, and so we felt like we will monitor the situation, and if we see signs of its escalation, then we will make sure children are dropped before it's too late.
The situation has left the learners in confusion. Constantly concerned parents have voiced their concerns, calling on the government to address the grievances of the youth, crucial in resolving the unrest.
I would just urge the government to look at the plight of the youth, to look at the plight of Mwananchi, to understand that Mwananchi has grievances that the government needs to resolve. For our children, I think the situation is becoming dire. We don't know if we are going to allow our children to school tomorrow, but we are waiting to see on how the government responds, on how it tackles this issue.
Protesters across the country have set aside Tuesdays and Thursdays for anti-tax and anti-government demonstrations. Questions now surround the impact the protest is going to have on schools, given that there are no clear guidelines on when the demonstrations are going to end. And Musungu, KTN News, Nairobi.
Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says she will cooperate with the Nairobi South Ward MCA